We continue then to get reaction. Let's now bring in Eastern Cape MEC for Community Safety, Xolile Nqatha, who joins us now for more. Thank you so much, MEC, for your time. Now, as we get your reaction to this massacre, let's start with an update in terms of what is currently happening on the scene at the moment. We've just heard now from our reporter, and we know that the identification process is ongoing, and many of the bodies have already been removed from the houses as forensic teams comb the scene. Just from your vantage point, if you can bring us up to speed.
Yeah, thank you very much. Greetings to you and the viewers. And as a province, we woke up this morning and have heard to this devastating news of this brutal killing. And I wish to take this opportunity to convey our message of condolences to the families of the deceased. The police have already activated the 72-hour activation plan to ensure that the perpetrators are brought to book. Call upon the community's members to work with the police. And the police are following all the information, including to interview the 5 who survived in the incident, hoping that they will shed more light, which will lead to the perpetrators, The forensic teams have completed their work, and the police are going to pull all information available, which will lead to the arrest. It is a very, very sad situation.
I mean, any indication in terms of those investigations? I know that it is still early days, but any indication in terms of, from the 5 that they have interviewed, what could have possibly led to this shooting?
It is not clear at this stage, and would want to afford the police the opportunity to complete the interviews so that we are able to succeed in arresting those who have committed this heinous crime.
I don't know how much of the previous interview that you've heard with the bereaved member of the family. It seems that community members in that area are living in fear, MEC, especially because they are seeing very little movement in terms of arrests, even in previous mass shootings in the province. To this date, we still don't know, in fact, what happened and what transpired in the Willowvale shooting, for instance, where 7 people were killed in that village.
In almost all the mass shootings in the province, in Willowvale, there were arrests there, and in Nelson Mandela, in all the shootings that were taking place there, our detectives were successful, and some of those who were arrested are still in prison. And I've taken note of the family member who was killed in August last year, of which there has been no arrest. And the success of the police entirely depend in many of these instances to the cooperation, by community members to bring information forward. And we are working very hard. We do appreciate, the fears that communities have under the circumstances. But we are taking all the steps that are necessary to ensure that all those who break the law and commit such crimes such as these are brought to book. And we are setting up community structures so that we restore the confidence of the people to the police.
Yeah.
We are also ensuring that we take action to any officers who are failing to do their own responsibilities.
And just on that note, MEC, of restoring confidence, I mean, we heard earlier Police Minister Senzo Mchunu pleading with communities to give them any information they may have. I mean, how concerned then are you about the fact that many communities in this country simply do not trust police, which is why in most cases they do not speak up, as we've heard in that other interview? I mean, one study recently, in fact, puts the trust levels at just over 20% roughly. What is your department specifically doing just to make sure that you bridge that gap?
We have launched an extortion hotline where people are able to report, and already we have received more than 2,000 calls. And some of the cases, police have been able to take action. In the case of the past few days, where 2 extortionists in Nqatha were killed by the police after they attempted to shoot at the police It was out of the hotline where committee members called to say, here are people who are collecting money from the pasta shop in the area. And the police responded, and those were dealt with accordingly as we're trying to shoot the people. So that is why then we're calling upon communities to use this hotline where they are able to pass information without having to identify themselves. We also have appointed in some areas the safety brigades, which are helping, in the process of working with the police to ensure that we fight against criminality in many of these areas. That's a situation that we have, and we still insist that the best guarantee safety of community is to pass information to the authorities. For extortionists would come to you and say, pay money in order for me to guard you. That already tells you that your security is at stake, and therefore the only lasting way is to ensure that information is shared and that the perpetrators of these crimes are brought to book and rooted out of our communities once and for all.
And just final question from me as we wrap up, MEC, just given the brutality of this particular incident, I would imagine how traumatized and scared family members specifically are. What support, if any, is your department providing specifically to those that are fearing for their lives?
We already in the area, there is police visibility. We're going to ensure that work with the provincial commissioner and the district commissioner to ensure that the police are visible in the area to monitor the situation. But at the same time, we're going to ensure that sector departments like social developments and other relevant departments and the local municipality are able to provide the necessary support to affected communities so that they are able to deal with this difficult situation.
All right, let's leave it there. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, MEC Eastern Cape, MEC for Community Safety, Xolile Nqatha there for us.